Hi, and welcome to our professional development on EL education in Arizona. I'm very excited to go over all the important details that us as professionals and teachers need to know in order to help all of our students be successful. So first, let's go over who is considered an EL student in Arizona. So Arizona defines an EL English language learner as a K-12 student whose primary home language is not English. Arizona uses a home language survey to determine the student's primary language. The Arizona Language Learner Assessment, AZELA, is a standards-based assessment that meets both state and federal requirements to measure students' English language proficiency. The AZELA test is used to determine what instructional placement will be most appropriate for the student. The test is also used to monitor student progress once a year until they meet proficiency. And once students score proficient, they are also monitored for 2 years to ensure that they are successful in the mainstream classroom. So the demographic and home language composition of the pre-K through 12 EL population in Arizona, as of 2021-22, Arizona schools were home to more than 93,000 English language learners, and in recent years, the most common languages spoken were Spanish, Vietnamese, Navajo, and Somali. So the structured English immersion, or SEI, and sheltered English instruction are two common ways that the EL students are instructed. Arizona law requires a minimum of 4 hours per day of English language development during the first year a student is classified as an ELL. So the structured English immersion classroom content is a minimum of 4 hours daily of English language development, and it is teaching the English skills to students who are in the process of learning English. The ELD instruction focuses on the pronunciation, the English word rules, vocabulary, and semantics. The sheltered English instruction is a set of classroom practices that make content comprehensible for ELs, such as scaffolding, visual supports, explicit vocabulary, and sheltered strategies. So it's more of strategies in a classroom setting. The SEI is a program model state requirement, and the sheltered instruction is a classroom instructional approach that aligns with the SEI and is commonly used within the SEI classroom. So the Arizona's language development approach, there's 4 principles that make up the language development approach. All the principles revolve around all the educators sharing responsibility for promoting success of the English language learner, as well as student agency, which is the student's ability to make choices, set learning goals, self-advocate, and feel ownership of their learning. The meaningful comprehensive input and interaction. Students need rich, comprehensible input and opportunities to interact in the English language. Students also need explicit, systematic language instruction. Purposeful teaching of academic vocabulary, grammar, language functions that students need for the grade level that they're in to help them with their grade level content. Access to rigorous grade level content is holding the grade level standards with scaffolds for these children. Language development should happen through engaging with the content of the grade. Ongoing assessment and responsive instruction is also important, and using the formative assessment and proficiency assessments to determine what they need to help them with their language. So student agency gives EL students self-determination when students set goals and track progress. They are more motivated and persistent in their learning. It gives them a voice. The ELs are given routine opportunities to express ideas, build not only language but confidence and identity as learners. And it also gives scaffolded risk-taking opportunities, low-stakes speaking drafts, peer feedback, reduces anxiety, and supports productive struggle with language. So the SEI program structure, Arizona recognizes that the program meets different students' needs, and the practice that includes newcomer programs is an intensive program, usually short-term, for students who are newly in the United States and have very limited English or very interrupted schooling. So this focuses more on language development, orientation to school routines, social emotional support, and sheltered content instruction. They also have a pull-out model. Students spend most of the day in mainstream classrooms but are pulled for specialized language instruction. Pull-out is used for targeted skill development such as vocabulary, but it also aligns with the classroom content. They have the 2-hour model, which is where the ELs receive 2 hours per day of concentrated language development, or the 50-50 dual language immersion. This is a bilingual immersion where instruction is split between English and a partner language, mostly Spanish, with the goal of the bilingual or biliteracy. So a parent's right is that they have notification of that the placement of their child in the programs that are available for them. Communication is important. The right to consent or refuse any kind of placement that their child is being offered. The parent has assessment rights. They're informed about all the assessments used to place and exit their child, and they can request appeals of the decisions or retests, information and understandable language. So all information sent home should be in their home language so they can be clear of what they are reading or signing. And the right to remain informed of progress and reclassification. So they should have regular updates of how their student is doing. Some accommodations that a student with an EL student might have throughout the school day: extended time and frequent breaks, small group or individual administration of tests, simplified test directions, or they might be read aloud to them in English, flexible timing across sessions, and using any kind of scratch paper, visual supports, or glossaries when permitted. Thank you for listening to this PD. I hope you gain some good information and have a better understanding of how we can support the EL students in our classrooms. Thank you.